Heather, it's great to have you back on Newsmax Now, as always. Is the GDP a good indicator of how America's middle class is really doing?
Oh my gosh, it really is. This is a fantastic report this morning, up over 4.2% for the quarter. And yes, under President Obama, we did see 4% growth for the quarter, but we never saw on an annualized basis over 3%, which I think we could get there. This is the strongest economy in terms of growth, this type of growth since the early 2000s. So this is great, John.
Well, the reason why I asked that question, Heather, is because Chuck Schumer yesterday said, quote, "For too long we've relied on GDP alone as a bellwether for how Americans are faring in the economy, when we should be looking as well at income data across the economic spectrum." Does he have a point?
I don't want to admit that Chucky Schumer has a point, but he does in this case, John, because wage growth is still slacking a little bit. So to some extent, wages aren't rising. Americans aren't feeling it in their paychecks yet in terms of at the same pace of inflation rate, around 2%. But I do think wages are going to pick up very soon because the unemployment rate is so low. And I'm sorry, but GDP does matter. He's wrong about that, because it's 2/3 of GDP is consumer spending, business investment, business spending, and both consumer confidence and business spending are near all-time highs.
He has to spin it somehow. Well, the stock market also got a little bump after Trump announced a preliminary trade deal with Mexico this week. The deal is far from final, though. It still needs congressional approval and participation from Canada. Here is the president earlier today talking about renegotiating NAFTA.